In this episode, we're going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about how it's an investment, how it is prioritizing rest, mental health, physical wellness, and emotional balance. You don't want to miss this. Next on the Given Purpose podcast. Welcome to the Given a Purpose podcast, where we bridge the highs, the lows, the lessons learned through life's journey and filling in the gap. I'm your host, Mr. LA, man. Welcome back. Listen, I know. Just letting y'all know, last week wasn't a fluke, man. We still doing this thing. We still doing this. We still back in effect, man. Once again, I appreciate you guys inviting me into your homes. But I need you to do me a favor, though. I really need you to do me a favor. Hit that link, man. Click the link, follow your boy, all that good stuff. Make sure you get all the good downloads, man. Make sure you subscribe, all that good stuff, so you can get all this good content. Man, we doing it big in 2025, man. So I appreciate you guys for last week, man. Got a lot of good feedback, got a lot of good reach on it. So, man, hopefully it blesses somebody and I help them get to the next level. Because that's what we all trying to do, man. We're trying to get to the next level. So today I want to talk about self-care. Important. Self-care is so important to who we become, who we want to be. All right. Listen, I want you to make sure that we understand that self-care is just not, we're not just talking about spa days. We're not just talking about, getting your getting your manicure, getting your pedicure, and things like that. It's a lot of things. And the thing about me that I learned about self-care was it was tough for me because I had to realize that I had to come out of sort of like people pleasing. Listen, I wanted to be there for everybody. I'm naturally a person that I want to make sure everybody else is good, because in a way that's, a part of my happiness and I enjoy it. So I had to realize that I had to take in good self-care to make sure that I am the best version of me. And I understand that self-care is not selfish. It's a strategy. I'm going to say that one more time so you make sure you understand that and let it sink in. Self-care is not selfish. It's a strategy. It's strategic, right? It's good for your wellness. It's good for performance. It's good for mental clarity, energy, management, setting boundaries. Practicing self-care helps you integrate good routines. And if you keep doing it and if you're consistent, you're going to get a great return on your investment. So one thing, let's go over a couple of key things that we want to make sure that we're strategic about. All right. Listen, man, for a long time, because those that don't know, I work at a school. I'm also a baseball coach. And with that, I dedicate a lot of my time to the students at the school and to my baseball team. And let me tell you, now, if you didn't notice, yes, because you haven't seen me in almost 2 years, that's part of the reason. But you know what I had to do? I said, forget them kids. I kind of had to do that. So I start prioritizing making myself go back to the gym. Listen, there were so many things that were non-negotiable for me that I allowed those outside factors to determine how my life was going to be. Going to the gym for me at one point, non-negotiable. All right, during the school year, 4 times a week. During the summer, 5 times a week, non-negotiable. Doing this podcast, I don't care what's going on. If I planned a vacation, if I had to go on tournaments, busy time at work, also going to the gym, non-negotiable on doing this podcast. It had to come out every Monday. And I did that for 2 years straight. 2 years straight, I did that. But then I kind of lost it because not necessarily in the big scheme of things, is it a bad thing? Because I wanted to help kids get into college, even if it's through baseball or just academic wise. I wanted to make sure that they were good. So I got heavy into recruiting. I got heavy into making my team academically eligible as well as good on the baseball field. At one time, my team, we held a 3.85 average. So I had to make sure they were getting it done. So I kind of cut back on the things that I did, the things that I prioritized. And it's slowly not doing the things in my purpose and not taking that self-care. Everything started to drain me. Going to work was draining. Sitting in traffic was draining. Even doing the baseball was draining. To manage 15 to 30 kids at a time, draining. Getting them safely to the game, getting them back to the school safely. Then you know how people do. They have to wait for the parents to come pick them up. So it was a lot that was going on. And plus my family, making sure I showed up for them, going to games and going to family events. It was just like, oh man. And I started not to be creative. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It just started not to be creative. Like it was hard to come up with content. And that's when I knew, I'm like, this is getting out of control. And I had to do something about it. So 2025, I made some promises to myself. We gonna practice some good, healthy self-care. And that started with, one, I'm going back into the gym. I don't care how we do it. It may not be the same days of how I did it before, because before it was always Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday during the school year. And so this time I said, all right, I'm still coaching baseball, still in the school. All right, days that we have games, I probably won't go. So days that we have practice, after practice, I'm taking my butt to the gym. I don't care how long it takes me to get home. I'm coming in, pre-workout, drinking some water, changing my clothes, hitting the gym. Non-negotiable. Then guess what? Creativity started to come back. A little happiness started to come back. I started to get healthier. I started to not crave things that I did as well. Like, craving sweets and always trying to eat out. Because once I'm in that mode of keeping my body healthy, what then makes my mind clearer, I don't want those things because I see how they affect my mood. I see how they affect my workouts. I see how they affect the results that I'm trying to get. And it started to make sense. Like, okay. And then guess what happened after that? I said, I'm going to start this podcast back up. And that's what I did. And now creativity is coming back to me. Downloads are coming back. And that gets into the point I also want to make. Like I said, it gave me mental clarity and focus. So now I'm focused. So now I'm starting to plan and starting to make sure that I'm in routine of things. Listen, a routine is so important. Oh, it's so important. It is so important on just your long-term success. just making sure that you level up and get to the next level. It is essential. All right. Guess what else working out does? Started giving me energy. Now I have energy. Now I can manage my time a little better. Whew. You know what also getting a routine does that's great about self-care? I started to set boundaries of things. Whew. There's some things that I enjoyed that I had to give up. There's some people that I had to give up. Whew. And I realized, you know what else I realized? It's okay to say no. That is a part of self-care. Listen, that is an important part of self-care. Telling events no, telling people no, telling your old thinking no. And when you set boundaries, it shows people that, oh, he's different. Yeah, I'm a little different. I'm bringing back some of the things that made me successful because I'm trying to get to another level. I don't like being drained every day. I don't feel like I'm being forced to do something. If I want to go out, if I want to do something, I want to have the energy. And you know what else I set in those boundaries? What I started to do? I started to unplug from things. Not so much on social media, unless, it's for business purposes and different things like that. But I wear an Apple Watch, got my Apple phone, got my Mac. Sometimes I just unplug. And some people are like, whoa, man, you ain't been answering your phone. If I don't have my watch on, listen, one thing about me, because I have my watch and because, I worked in the school system and stuff like that, my phone the ringer is never on. So the most time I know that my phone is going off, because most of my stuff is off and is linked to each other because I have it on sleep mode, is my watch. So if I take my watch off and I'm really unplugging, because sometimes I got to have that time. That's very important to me, that I'm also understanding about my boundaries, is I got to have that time with God. And it is so important, because I started to realize that was crazy for me was I started to forget what his voice sounded like. I asked him for so much. I'm like, Lord, I need you to help me with this. Lord, I need you to guide me for this. Lord, I need you to do. And then sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what voice I'm listening to. I don't know if it's my voice, me wanting to do certain things. So I would pray. And that was a part of the unplugging. Like I had to put my phone to the side. I put my iPad to the side, take my watch off, and just really spend time with God, because I needed to hear his voice. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? If you have a significant other or your parents, it's like a good parent. A good parent knows his child's cry. You know what I'm saying? Knows his child when they're screaming, or just knows their child, knows that voice. And that's what I had to get back to. So I had to set boundaries, not just with people, but with gadgets, with television, and different things like that. God put me in a place with my boundaries where I really had to slow things down. So he slowly started to take things away from me. And, it was some resistance, but then I kind of understood why. I'm like, got you now. I get it. So that was a part of my strategy. I had to get healthy spiritually. I had to get emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. All right. I had to take certain steps to get my peace that I wanted so bad. Like the peace that God gives, the joy that God gives is so important. It's so important. It's because it's something that man can't give. It's something that you can't trade in. And so I was just so addicted to my peace, right? So I realized with doing something like that in certain boundaries, you kind of realize who your real friends are and who are the people that really care about you. Because if you set those boundaries, they kind of understand, right? They kind of figure out oh, they're moving in a different space now. And if I love them enough, I'll respect that. I'll respect those type of things. And I just want you guys to be clear about a couple of things, just to make sure that we understand that if you don't take self-care, if you don't take time to have intimate time with yourself, if you don't take time to invest in yourself, you're going to get burnout. You're going to have bad moods, and you're going to end up being less productive. You got to start eating right. Sometimes you got to unplug. Sometimes you just have to take the time out and just be one with your creator. Have him love on you. Have him download some things into you. That's like the scariest thing to me, is to not be in my purpose. And I'm always asking for guidance. And I'm always asking God to trust me with more. But for me to get those downloads, sometimes I have to unplug. And that's a part of my self-care. Oh man, I enjoy it. All right. Because I always want to be at my peak performance. I always want to sustain the success. Like, it's one thing to achieve success, but it's another thing to sustain it. And it all starts with self-care and understanding that you have to take care of yourself, right? And then I also, like I said, I also learned that when I take care of myself, I don't have to be, this is great. I also don't have to be so emotional about things. That's so important, because I was definitely stuck in a place where you get into things where you care sometimes more than the other party does. And to kind of give you guys an example, sometimes, I talk about this a lot with my team. I talk about it a lot with like my assistant coach, my boss, and different things like that. Like, these kids, we love them, but they're a different generation, right? And sometimes I catch myself a lot of times because I'm caring about what they said they want more than they do. And I'm trying to put more work into it than they are. And then it's like this thing I have to start over again all the time. I'm like, if they don't care, what am I doing? This is draining. So sometimes I have to unplug. Listen, the crazy thing about it, let me be real transparent. This has been a rough baseball season. Just focus wise, clarity wise, just emotionally, because it is draining, because it's not necessarily all about wins and losses. It's about, because I believe sports is also a mirror of life. Like, what you put in it is what you get out of it. If you put in that extra work, you're going to get that extra. It's just not going to show up out of nowhere. You're going to instinctively do what you need to do because you've practiced it. And if you practice at 100%, you have no choice but to play at 100%. And this has been just tough, because I feel like sometimes I have to reset every day. But naturally, all I know is I got to show up at 100. Whether they care or not, I have to show up at 100, because that's just how I'm bred. But mentally, it's not good. Emotionally, it's not good. And I got to a point where I was like, I was saying to myself, man, these kids are, I think they're taking the love of the game away from me because of what's going on. So I kind of had to unplug, had to do some things. I was watching um, a documentary on Netflix, started watching some of the game, and I'm like, my mind is still going. I'm still thinking of strategies. I'm like, it's still there. And in my mind, I think, this summer I may have to just unplug, take a step back, take a break, because the only way I can be 100% and give my best foot forward is to sometimes take a step back and practice on self-care. Listen, I make sure I'm trying to talk to God every day as a part of my self-care. Sometimes I have to make sure that I just take myself out to dinner, self-care. Sometimes I have to just go for a walk. That's a part of my self-care. And I'm starting to read different books. I'm starting to get downloads from just different information to put myself, even though I'm not business wise where I want to be, personally where I want to be, I actually make out a plan. I actually look at things that I'll need at the next level and do research on it. That's kind of where I'm at now. That's a part of my self care. So when I get there, I would have already had a foundation of what I need to do. Like this right here, this is going to speak to millions one day. This is going to um, appeal to the masses. Because before I get on every episode, I make sure I pray and I make sure God gives me what I need to say. And I always ask God, I say, God, your people are listening. What do you need me to say? I hope that this affects someone in a positive way. Those are the conversations that I have before I turn this camera on and I speak to you guys. So I need you guys from now on to make sure that you practice self-care. Take time out for yourself. Heal your body. Heal your mind. And what I'm realizing, that last part I just said, that's the key right there. The changing of the mindset. Once I started changing the mindset of things, I used to say so many negative things. That has been the biggest struggle of everything. The biggest struggle of everything that I had to declutter all of the negative things I would say. All of the things I may saying just jokingly, and say, why not me instead of woe is me. Things could be better instead of things are always bad happen to me. No, things are preparing me for the next level that I said that I want. The cup is definitely half full. And so once I started to change my mindset, things started to become clearer. Things started to make sense. And that's a part of self-care. We say so many negative things to ourselves. We eat terribly, but we want to be healthy at the same time. And so that takes a different mindset. Like, all right, I want to listen. I want to look good. Summer is coming. All right. We want to be outside for the summer. You know what I mean? But to achieve those goals, I had to change my mindset. Oh, we got to eat better. Oh, we got to get some sleep. Oh, we got to go to the gym. All of these things, no excuses. So stop negotiating with bad behavior. Negotiate positive things, good routines, and you will be a lot better. Hopefully this bless someone. Hopefully this takes some of the stress and the things that have been holding you down. It's 2025. Listen, we're almost halfway through this year. You can do this. Change your mindset, change your life. It's all a part of self-care. Hopefully this blessed somebody. Hopefully this will help you level up. Now, you know what I need you to do, like we do every week. I need you to make sure that you live on purpose and live in purpose. I'll see you guys next week. Peace. Peace.